Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us with this virtual town hall, small business issues. I really thank everybody for joining us over the past several weeks to talk about the small businesses and the challenges that they're facing. We're going into a new phase, which is very, very exciting. On Friday, after our call on Friday, the governor talked about June 1st being a date, a transitioning date on quarantines and on the issues that have to do with the small businesses like fitness centers and hair salons, and we're going to find out how that all works out. But our focus is going to shift to making sure that we're providing the small businesses with all the opportunity to succeed after this long haul that they've been under. And that's our focus right now. So Friday, we started talking about creating a grant program from the state funded from the emergency federal funds. And let me just read you why I believe that that's an option. I'm just going to read you from the guidance that expenditures related to provisions of grants to small businesses to reimburse the cost of business interruption caused by required closures. That defines many, many, many of our businesses in the state of Rhode Island. So that $1.25 billion, there is flexibility on allocating funds to small businesses who have been impacted due to closures because of the COVID-19. So that's going to be a big focus of our effort over the next few weeks. And we ask you to join in with us because we got to make sure that our small businesses that were active and live before the health virus hit us, that they're going to be active and live afterwards. And I've also press released out today about getting an aggressive strategy with a state guaranteed loan program, partnering with local banks, and putting up tens of millions of dollars of guarantees, and at the same time leveraging those dollars into hundreds of millions of dollars of small business loans in Rhode Island to help our small businesses who choose to borrow funds. They've been impacted dramatically, and unless we really work really quick and fast, we're going to have an avalanche of business failures, small business failures in the state of Rhode Island, and we don't want that to happen. So that's my update on how we're going to work things. And going forward, next week we'll be to one small business call a week. We'll go on Friday again this week. But we'll give you the update on Friday in terms of how we're going to proceed to communicate and make sure that information gets out and that we continue to work really hard on behalf of our small businesses in the state of Rhode Island. So that would being said, Ben, let's bring on Matt and Joe. I think that we can get an update from them. Hi, Joe.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, Matt. And as always, just let the people who are viewing now, they can put their questions into us. And we'll try to answer them. If not, offline, we'll make sure they get their answers to the questions they're asking. So, Matt, please give us an update on where you are right now relative to the unemployment issues.
Sure. Thanks, Governor. Good to see you. Good to see you, Joe. Governor, you mentioned salons and fitness centers in your opening remarks. Those are two places that I wish I could be very soon. I need to do something about this. And I feel like this pandemic is like going back to college. I feel like I'm sitting at my desk and eating all day long. It's awful. So just a quick update for everybody. We're up to 230,000 claims in unemployment. 58,000 almost are from the new benefits. And so those are a lot of your small businesses, self-employed people that were 1099s. There's quite a few. The big news of the week is anytime there's a holiday in a week, a Monday holiday, payments are delayed by about a day. And that's just because of the bank run schedule. And so everybody that usually gets paid on Tuesday will probably get paid on Wednesday. And if you waited an extra day, then you'll probably get bumped back one day this week. Another big thing is people are starting to get called back to work. We've been dealing with a lot of employers in the last month or so, trying to get people back into the workplace. We have a process. It is working. If people are going back to work and they're concerned that they're owed money for unemployment, that's okay. We can still help them. And as long as the money was payable for a time when they weren't working, there will not be an issue. So we can pay you now, even though you're back to work, because the money is for a time that's in the past. And we can deal with that. Another thing I wanted to mention is online, we talked about on the website for DLT, there's a form where people can sign up to get assistance. And I know people are frustrated and it's taking a week or more to get a call back. The other day, the team that does those calls, which can actually, they've all been outfitted with the system and can actually make the call and resolve issues over the phone. They had 10,000 callbacks to make. That's an incredible number. And even though that team grows and we have well over 100 people working on unemployment claims, that is a staggering number to face. One of the and those were deduplicated. And so that means that we had to spend time pulling names off if they've submitted 2, 3, or 4 times. So I'm going to ask everybody, just please continue to be patient. Please go to the governor's office with the email address that he mentioned and that he mentions every week. They'll contact me and I'll do my best to get you a quick resolution. Even that will probably take a couple or 3 days just because of the volume right now is so high. The good thing is the systems are working. Everything is kind of in a better place than it was a month or 6 weeks ago. We're catching up on a number of things. Most of the issues that people have requested a call about have been resolved. And so maybe they don't know that yet. And it's a quick phone call, but when you have to make 10,000, that's quite the feat ahead of you. And finally, I know there's a lot of businesses on these calls. One of the programs that we like to tout is the Workshare program. I know that program's been backlogged. I know that they're jammed. Because it's successful, it is busy. And so I have been tasked with leading the effort for DLT to kind of reimagine again the way that we run Workshare, which basically means that we're going to automate it as much as we can. That cannot happen overnight, and it wouldn't be appropriate to do it quickly and to essentially cause a problem when no one can process Workshare claims. So we're going to be easing these things in one step at a time, like we did with the new certification tool we use and everything else that you've seen in the last 6 weeks. I will give updates on that every time we talk, Governor, because that's a great program for small businesses. Right now, the Workshare program is funded 100% by the federal government. And so that will mean no employer taxes from Rhode Island are going to pay those benefits. We'll make sure you get in. We'll make sure the payments are made in arrears. And going forward in the future, I'm probably going to ask some people to help me take a look at the changes that we want to make and focus group it and see if it is a meaningful change for our business community. And I appreciate this avenue to talk to everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt, that Workshare program, just explain what that is. Some people might not know what Workshare is. Explain what that is, and because I think you're going to get more activity on that as people get back to the business, opening their business, but they're not going to be fully operational for a period of time, and that program may be able to help them.
Sure. And so Workshare operates, it's an unemployment program, but it operates a little differently than regular unemployment. And that is an employer has the opportunity to essentially slow work down a little bit and spread out the cuts across a group or their entire operation. And instead of laying people off, reduce the hours for the workforce. That would mean that there's less money that the employer has to spend, which keeps their overhead down, and hopefully they can continue to operate. Then the employees that are impacted will they'll work some hours and get a check for that work, and they'll also get paid by the unemployment system. And the good thing about Workshare is, unlike regular unemployment, where if you work part-time and earn more than your benefit rate, you don't get a check, Workshare is different. In Workshare, you get a reduced benefit based on the amount of hours that you've seen cut, but you can get your Workshare check every week and your check from your employer, even if that puts you over the limit. It's been a valuable tool used in Rhode Island manufacturing companies for years. Senator Reed helped champion a lot of these changes over the years. Rhode Island's been a model for the rest of the country because of the leadership of Senator Reed and others. And right now, what we're trying to do is just build off of those changes and let Rhode Island continue to lead. Little Rhode Island leads on a lot of things throughout the country, and people don't realize it. I think we're able to take advantage of our size, and we have good leaders like the governor and like Senator Reed and the congressional delegation that help us, showcase all the good things happening here. I know everyone's frustrated, but realize that right now in Rhode Island, we're better off than they are in a lot of places throughout the country.
Yeah, that program, thank you for mentioning that, Matt, too, because I think that's going to be very helpful to many of our businesses as we phase our way back into the operations, which we're going to be focused on quite a bit, is that to be the helpful hand to make sure that these businesses that are phasing themselves back in, which is great that Governor Raimondo is, stepping that up. And I think that we're accelerating, quite frankly, at a faster rate than most states and even some of the countries that we're talking to right now that have had their peaks 6-7 weeks ago, and they're just getting to where we are right now in reopening. So thanks again for that yeoman work that you're doing at DLT, Matt, and thank you again for being available on an individual basis, and this program here helps people to hear things, and hopefully it takes a little bit of the workload off those 10,000 calls that you were obligated, to make sure that they get some response on. So thanks. Stick around for a second though, Matt, all right?
Sure.
Joe, I wanted to, and then Ben's going to have a question, I think, here for Matt. But Mark Hayward is not here today because he has a special call on clarification on forgiveness on the PPP loans. And we know that there's some activity going on because you and I were communicating over the weekend about potentially extending that 8-week time frame. Is there any update on that, or are we still in the same spot where there's been some buy-in from the Senate committee, but we haven't really established exactly that's going? But maybe you could just share where you think we are right now.
Sure, thanks. So just from keeping up with the news, it looks like what's happened is the Senate Committee on Small Business has considered a number of proposals that have come in from various, the restaurant associations and the like, both to extend the forgiveness period from 8 to 16 weeks and to extend that June 30 deadline that's coming up. For now, they have deferred. There was some discussion that there would be fast action on that, but for now that has been delayed while they figure out exactly what needs to be put into the law, but also what can be done, maybe directly by working with Treasury on just making some changes to their regulations. So we're still in a holding pattern for the time being. I know a lot of people are interested if that 8 weeks is going to become 16 as they figure out how to spend those funds that have come into their account. But unfortunately, no update on that as of yet. But we'll continue to monitor that.
Well, that's definitely progress. The Senate committee is endorsing an idea like that. I think that things need to come out of the Senate because of the into the House. That seems to be the right path going forward. But I would also say that Mark will be here on Friday, and hopefully he's going to have some important updates on the PPP. I still know, because I researched this morning, there's billions of dollars that are still available on those PPP loans. Our office certainly can help you access those loans or get the application in. I encourage you that especially with the potential of having a longer time frame on payment of the payroll issues, it may be advantageous. I know we had a dance studio on our call Friday who was saying that they were holding on to the money and hopefully when they reopen, they'll be able to use it towards the payroll, and it made more sense to them to do that. So don't pay it back yet until we hear what's going on. When does that loan does not have to be paid back until what, the end of the year, Joe?
Well, it depends. The trick is that the forgiveness period starts once the funds are distributed. So that's the time that they have to decide whether they're going to pursue forgiveness. And if not, there are terms they should look to. There are terms in there for deferral of payments and whether and when interest starts running if they are not getting it forgiven. Yeah. It is a little bit.
We'll have a little bit more of that with Mark on Friday. And Ben, do we have any questions there for Matt?
Hello, everybody. We sure do. Hi,
Ben. Thank you for being here.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. So we have several questions. One, with WorkShare, do employees still get the federal payment of $600?
Yes, every unemployment payment comes with the $600 from now until July 31st.
Okay.
Thank you for asking the question.
No problem. Diane says, I realize employees for WorkShare has to be 50%. Have you considered raising this to 75%? We're trying to maintain our employees. We just don't have a lot of work yet.
So that right now, the time frames are governed by Rhode Island statute and by the federal government. And so we have essentially unemployment is really a federal program that's run by states. And so state laws definitely play in, but you have to make sure you're in compliance with the federal government. We would be open to a change. We'd have to make sure that was okay with the federal government. And then we'd have to change the law in Rhode Island. Right now, the law says you can have a reduction between 10 and 50% of the hours, no more than 50%.
Okay. And then we have, just, Matt, as always, there's a bunch of things of people that haven't, that have had issues with filing or they haven't heard from DLT yet about unemployment claims. I know that you guys are incredibly swamped and overwhelmed. Can you just reiterate one more time what what the best course of action is that they can do. I also want to remind everybody that Cheyenne, in the Lieutenant Governor's official Facebook page, in the comments, Cheyenne is putting the links to all of the forms, all of the numbers, all of the emails. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
If you send the Lieutenant Governor an email at that address that Cheyenne had thrown up on the screen earlier, then they will forward it to my attention. And if you I'll take a look at your claim. And if you haven't had a call yet, then we'll try to figure it out as quickly as we can. That may mean it's 2 or 3 days from the time I get it from the Lieutenant Governor's office, but I'll do the best I can.
And then final question that I have for you is, what do you do if you work 2 jobs, one being a W-2 and one being the CARES Act?
The requirement from the federal government is to first try to qualify people on their W-2 wages, even if that means that the benefit is lower than they would get using the new PUA program. The federal government is going to audit this. We do not have a choice. If you're able to qualify because you have W-2 wages, then that's the claim you get. Even if that means it's $100 a week, you'll also get the $600, which is good, but we don't have the ability to, and I was just asked this morning, can you just cancel my claim and let me file in the other place? The answer is no, because even though they have different applications, they route back into the same program, and one will stop the other from going forward.
Okay, so and because you have 2 jobs or 2 businesses, like you own a business and you're an employee in a business, you still have to do the W-2 first.
If you qualify for it, correct.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, everybody.
Appreciate it very much. Stick around if you can.
Okay.
Joe, thank you for being here as well, and thank you for those questions. Very important that if you have something on your mind, please submit the question. That's why we're doing a live broadcast today, and we appreciate everybody that is watching and sharing the information. So I think next we got a Gifted Forward program, Matt. Is that Ben? That's next on our agenda, I believe. I don't know if anybody's here from Gifted Forward program, but if you are, that's great. Justin, thank you. And
Hi,
I'm
guys.
going to have you carry over to the business section as well, Justin, if you're able to do that. And Laurie, thank you, and as well. So I think that we're. I know our discussions have been about helping our small businesses, especially was their reopening. The reopening strategies happen, and after our call, our broadcast on Friday, the governor did create some pretty strong flexibility. We want to continue to see as much flexibility as we can, but we're moving relatively fast, and so we're trying to keep the Gifted Forward, rismallbusiness.org, up to date. So maybe you could just give us some of your thoughts, Justin and Laurie and Chris, and then we're going to keep on doing the work. And then and Justin, you're going to stick around later, because part of our presentation today, for those who are watching, is we've got many, many businesses and people in the state of Rhode Island that are stepping up and providing help for the businesses that are reopening with the protective equipment and other related matters. And we're going to have a segment on that and encourage people who are watching to step up as well. So Justin, give us a little update on the Gifted Forward, where we are and where we're going to go over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Sorry, I'm a little echoey today because I'm actually in my shop for a change. So we've been working, Chris and I, pretty hard on getting that new site up. We're just finishing over the last bit of data entry to that. But as we continue to move forward, we're really expanding the business resource section of that, and really helping a lot of the small businesses that are watching today, get reopened safely. So I always say, if you have questions on it, always feel free to email me. It's Justin at oceansidegraphicsri.com. We've been doing like a ton of site visits to, just help someone put a plan in place. We're not charging for it. We're just going out there and helping everybody. It's one way to help the small business community. In conjunction with our website, it really flows into that new model of, being there for the voice of the small businesses themselves. We have a voice. We have an awesome website now, thanks to Chris and the hard work with this team. And, we really look forward to, what that site brings, and which I think is a good segue to switch over to Chris to touch on that a little bit.
Nice.
Sure. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, like Justin said, we've made great progress with the site.
So one thing I'll say just another time is that if you have an organization or a business that's providing free or discounted services to small businesses to help us out, please email us. You can email me directly. That's cp@trailblaze.marketing. And we'll try to get you up on the site as well, which again would be about Shop Local, which Lori will probably touch upon. Resources, information. There's a lot of great organizations out there that are doing a lot of great things. We want to just centralize that so we can be the hub for all small businesses, as well as the services that I mentioned as well, and how to make sure you're opened up properly according to the guidelines that the governor's office recently announced, which Justin touched upon. So hopefully this can we can show you the final product very soon.
Lori.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I can't wait to see it. So on the Shop Local component, we've been working with small businesses on just getting their communications out so that their customers know what they're up to, what to expect when they approach the business, and how the business is operating. We've been working with we just finished the Rhode Island Brewers Guild social media campaign. So we gave those services to support all the breweries in Rhode Island, and they'll be doing a great virtual fundraiser on June 27th. But on the Shop Local RI Thrive site, we have people still signing up to the site and being able to let their customers know if they have curbside pickup, if they're delivering. Some of the restaurants, a lot of the restaurants are opening up at 50% in a week or so, but they're still maintaining their delivery services. So you want to check in on that. And some are even delivering at the beach. So it's kind of cool what the creativity that's coming from all the different businesses and how they're maintaining their business and serving their clients and customers. So yeah, keep shopping local. Let's keep our supply chain nice and short.
Yeah, I just came off a call with the Musqueamicut Business Association. Liz Tanner was on that call as well, and talking about the fact that there is reopening strategies going on. I know that Commerce is going to be holding some specific calls to help with some guidance for the gyms and the fitness areas and the hair salons, which are very anxious to move ahead. But this site, again, thank you, the three of you, for your work on this, because this is going to be so important as businesses reopen. Because as Laurie has said, and Chris and Justin, not every business is going to be opening up at 100%.
Right.
And we're going to have to fill in those gaps. And if we want to see, and I think we all do, we want to see our small businesses, continue to be in business after this virus is past us. In order to do that, the work that's happening with Justin and Laurie and Chris helps us to contribute to do that. And so we encourage people to go to the site, shop local, and also advanced purchase. We've been talking to different countries right now. We were talking to New Zealand. I mentioned it on Friday. And they've actually had a kind of an advanced purchase strategy that happened organically, similar to our website here, Justin. That happened organically, very quick, but it really wasn't planned as a business plan or something like that. We were able to kind of just jump in, and then Chris followed, and then Laurie followed that. So yes, so let's gift it forward. If you're comfortable working with a small business and advance them some dollars. Those dollars are going to be very important to them. So thank you all for continuing to work on this. We're gonna, I think as you heard, we'll probably be going to a one small business call a week next week. Probably will be on the Tuesday. We'll be announcing further details on Friday, and then we'll continue our Wednesday broadcast. We may move that to a Thursday. I'm not sure. And then we have these other broadcasts that I think that are going to really be interesting, not necessarily on a scheduled basis, but we're talking to some really interesting people that are in other countries right now. In Israel, we will be talking to the economic ambassador there about how those states are actually reopening. Those countries, New Zealand as well. We had Taiwan on. We got Australia. Oh, I think we got England tomorrow, and Australia the following week. So we're gonna kind of filter in these special broadcasts that are really irrelevant in terms of where we are in the phases.
Yeah, I think as businesses try to look at their own business and create how they're going to operate, just having that food for thought from all businesses from around the world is so cool. I mean, it'll change. It can change everything that we do here. I like that personally, but
Yeah.
but a lot of
our plan right now is to go to a once a week small business call. We'll keep the evening going, but then we're going to be very flexible to be able to put in something that we think is relevant and interesting to people, but also helpful to everyone. So I can tell you this, that I've been doing more research on what my background should look like online here, what where I should be. Look, I just discovered where the camera is on my laptop, so I'm trying to look at my camera today rather than look at the people that I'm talking. I think I'm having eyeball with the people on the screen, but I'm really not. So yes, there's a lot to learn, and I think that this core group with Justin and Laurie and Chris are just invaluable. We can't put a price tag on this effort that you're given, because it's going to be a different world, and we are going to communicate differently. And in many ways, I believe, whether it's in education, which that'll be one of our special broadcasts. I can't wait to get back to what I believe needs to happen in education. And but in many ways, it's going to be better. We're going to have a lot more. It's going to be a lot more nimble. We're going to be able to really talk to one another really on a drop of the hat, right? And you're teaching me this, and you're teaching many people the benefit of being able to be quick and nimble in this new world. So, any parting comments here at all? But besides the fact,
my parting comment would be that any business listening knows that they can reach out to any one of us for support and direction. And I think that we're committed to that as the three amigos, the three businesses. But
yes.
where the door is open.
Yeah, and I appreciate that to the three of you, and it's just so important what you're doing, and stepping up in this way. And that's what we're going to, next segment, we're going to have Justin stay with us, but we bring a couple other people who are stepping up in their way, and whether it's big or small, helping one small business do $1 worth of business more than they would have done. Protects them in this very, very fragile environment. And a lot of our small business, in fact, most of our small business are very fragile right now. And we need to be really, that's why I'm talking about the grant program from the federal funds that the state holds. They can be as aggressive as they want. As small business, owners, we should be, really, letting the General Assembly members know, reaching out to our town council members, city council members, reaching out to the governor's office. Tell them to be aggressive in helping our small business survive. That's something that everybody who's watching this broadcast now, and also anyone that's on here, can do. That's all within our ability. Call our local representatives, senators, call our local city council members, call the governor's office, invest in our small businesses, put hundreds of millions of dollars of support out for our small businesses. Some small businesses, right when this started, were not really inclined to think that they wanted to borrow any more money. But as a small business owner myself, and maybe you can chime in on this, if I know that I need to survive for another 4 months or 6 months, and it would take me X amount of dollars to do that, even though I wasn't prepared to bring on more debt, if I think out in the long run that investment in my business that I've been operating for several years is worth it, I'm going to do it. But if it's not available, and it's not readily available and easily available, and I've had a couple of businesses this week that I've steered to banks, and it wasn't, it's not in their wheelhouse yet. We got to get it in their wheelhouse, right? Don't you believe that, Chris? That if small businesses needed to kind of weather the storm, they're going to borrow money and they're going to make that decision on their own, whether it makes sense to them or not.
Yeah, give them the option. Cash flow is so important for small businesses, as we all know. So calls like this, registering on rismallbusiness.org, it helps build a coalition so that, these individual small businesses, you don't feel like you're on your own. You now have hundreds of and thousands of small businesses with you and the lieutenant governor advocating for what we need, and a cash injection to help get us through this, mandated shutdown is certainly something that will help a lot of small businesses, I can imagine. And it's a risk people are willing to take because they worked their tails off for decades for their small businesses, and they're not going to just let it see, fall through and fail. So they're going to do whatever they got to do, I'm sure. And this will be one great solution.
Yeah. And so if we can get, some of the grants through the federal money to help those businesses that have not opened up yet, or really are just kind of opening up right now on June 1st, and make those the priorities for the businesses that we really provide those grants to. That will help a segment that really needs help right now. And if we can do a loan program and leverage state guarantees to put hundreds of millions of dollars onto the streets, into the small businesses, and have them choose whether they want to borrow or not under favorable terms, that's going to make a big difference for us all. Yeah. Again, thank you for everybody for being here. Justin, stick around with me. Chris and Laurie will be talking before the end of the week.
Thank you.
And we'll be having one more Friday show on this Friday, and then we'll be going to once a week. But we got those special programs that I can't wait for people to come up with their ideas of the special programs, whether it's with our international economic ambassadors, or it may be some other strategy that is a creative strategy to bring forward. And I'm very interested in learning more about this medium, this social media medium. How does our office get more people to know what we're doing? How do we get more activity going in a way that is helpful to people in using this? So I got a lot to learn. So I'll be on those calls, Laurie, with you and Justin and Chris, to learn a little bit more about this.
I'm ready to teach you.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Laurie. Justin, stick around.
So Anthony,
Ben, do we have a couple more businesses we can bring in? I think we have a couple more people. Hopefully. Hopefully we do.
So Anthony is, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anthony is driving right now. I can hear you, yeah. Okay, cool. So Anthony is driving right now, so he's going to be a couple seconds, a couple more minutes, but
okay.
But
we have ahead of schedule.
I know, it's insane.
Around 20 up.
It's insane.
Well, Mark Haywood wasn't able to be here today, and so we were, we usually try to have one business panel. But this is going to work out fine. We'll have a little question and answers afterwards for people who want to stay on, and there's a wealth of information. So I can start with Justin on what we're trying to do, and then is Marianne in the guest room as well?
Yep, she is. She's ready to go.
Good.
Do you want to go to Marianne? Let's go to Marianne first.
I think that we can have Marianne and Justin on at the same time.
Perfect.
If we can do that, and then if Anthony comes in, we'll put the three of us on. Welcome, Marianne. Thank you for being here. As you said, we're learning about the social media, and our families are very surprised that we're kind of acclimating ourselves to this forum. So let me kind of set what we're trying to talk about. Yeah, let me just kind of. I am very aware because people are calling our office, and they're in like I said, in big ways, small ways, and important ways are stepping up and trying to help our small businesses in ways that we never had to do before, right? So, Justin, just for you've been able to do these screens, right? These face guards. A little bit about those. I'm going to try to send that to Ben right now. Maybe he can put one up before you're off. But tell us a little bit about that. I know we've interacted with you on special people. Anthony actually is one of them. He's the training guard at the training school. He's one of the guards at the training school. So I don't know if we have the masks or whatever. Oh, the shield. All right, that's good. All right, background on how you've been stepping up, other than just giving it forward.
Yeah, so perfect. So at the beginning of all this, we started doing a lot of PPE for the medical industry. You know, a lot of our customers are nursing homes, you know, in the state, out of the state, and a lot down south. So we were able to take what they call PETG plastic, which is an FDA approved plastic. We were able to melt it down in the screen printing dryers and mold them and make some actual face shields. We did about just over 10,000 face shields over the last few weeks. A lot of those were donations. One nursing home chain bought a ton of them, which helped fund the project to be able to donate everything, which was really good. What we quickly found is that plastic that everybody's looking for, or Plexi or PETG, is sold out everywhere, so you can't get them anymore. We've got about 800 sheets left over that are perfect sizes for what we're seeing on sneeze guards now. So they're just like the shields that you just saw there. And if I actually move across the shop here and flip my camera, we can get a little more detailed. So let's go to the back camera here. All right, see, we're all still learning, right? So basically, these sit about 24 inches wide. These are perfect. This model here is perfect for more of a counter that just wants to be able to have an adjustable height. These rails can all connect to one another, so you could have 10 of these in a row, i.e. if you were a nail salon, this would be the perfect option for you if you had one table, because you'd be able to take this. There are stops in it. This one's curved a little bit up here for our front counter, but this piece of plastic can slide right up, and you're able to just slide a hand right through there, and you have your barrier here, to allow that, those airborne pathogens would hit that shield before it would hit. You can add the sides to it. They're fully customizable. So we are donating a lot of these right now. I know Andrea is working on an email that's going to go out at some point this week with how to, pre-order those and get those out into your business. But there's that version, and then there's just the plastic. A lot of people are just taking the plastic itself, and they want to just bolt it right over to, their counters or screw it into some wood, whatever option works best for your business and application. I know that, we're working on, different systems for places all over the place right now. So just let us know what you need, and we can get it done and get it in your facility.
Yeah,
there's some of the face masks that we made. So a lot of restaurants right now are asking us for those clear face shields. We still have a few of them left. I think I have about 150 or so left. I'm dropping some off to donate to Old Theater Diner later today or tomorrow. And the reason they're asking for those is so that, the waitresses can feel like they're, still getting all dressed up, and they can do their makeup and be themselves as they're serving.
Yeah, what's that now? Coventry, Justin?
Yeah, in Coventry. Yep.
Oh yeah, we were talking to the owner there the other day. They got some construction going on, and the DOT and TDLVD, the director, we were able to contact one another and try to help them out down there, which we're doing every day. That's one of the things for people who are listening. We're having direct contact with all the department heads. Our office, if you have something that's going on, you're having trouble getting through. I think you heard from Matthew Weldon. One of the reasons why you have trouble getting through because such a demand. But call our office 222-2371, and we'll be happy to respond. And Justin, thank you for that. We're going to try to do some sort of an inquiry for these, small businesses that are trying to help out the other small businesses, and you've been really an angel on that. You've been a guardian angel to a lot of people. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, there's my buddy.
And I see Anthony coming in. Anthony's one of the people that you actually helped out, Justin, right?
That's it.
So we'll give Anthony a chance to kind of settle a little bit there. But welcome, Anthony. Thank you for being here. Marianne, how are we doing? We got good connection with you? No, I think we're having a little trouble with your connection.
Are we good?
No, she was just
now. Yes,
she was just on mute. Yeah, she was just on mute.
Excellent. So, Marianne,
Hi, Lieutenant Governor. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being on. We're going to talk a little bit about the International Economic Ambassador Program, but I think we'll have time at the end of this segment to talk a little bit about that. But tell us some of the things that you've been doing and your connection, and you're a small business person as well. And tell us some of the things that you've been working on, very privately, but I know that we've connected you in with more than a couple people that you've had able to help with hand sanitizers and other type of things like that. So you know what you've done better than I do. So introduce yourself. Marianne has been a wonderful help to our office as we've started many of the programs. So thank you, Marianne, for being here.
Oh, Lieutenant Governor, you're very, very welcome. I want to thank you, if you don't mind, for the honor and the opportunity to be with you today and be with the others that are on the panel. And I would like to thank everybody for the dedication, hard work, and support that they're doing on problem solving and making a difference for our Rhode Island small businesses. And that leadership really starts from the top with you, your team at the State House, Mark Hayward, Matt Weldon, Joe Rodeo. You've had our national representatives on. You've had Senator Whitehouse, Senator Reed, Congressman Cicilline, Congressman Langevin, and all of our federal and local representatives for our state. And the Gifted Forward team has been phenomenal. And it's really hats off to them. And I know you call them the Three Amigos, but we have been calling them the Fearsome Threesome, because they've been doing an incredible, amazing job. And I know how hard it is as a small business to do what you've been doing. You've been going 24/7. And not only did you build a platform that was definitely hard needed for our businesses, and we are a small business state, you're fluid with it, and you're taking it now, building a foundation for the future. And I just wanted to say a special thank you for what you've done. And thank you to the Rhode Island businesses that you have had on, that you've been discussing what they're encountering, because they're not all encountering the same things. And the message I think that's been strong, that's been given out, is don't give up. There are options, and there's always choice. So some of the things that I've been working on as an international economic ambassador is, the first thing I did was I was able to procure some hand sanitizer that was not readily available, and it was medical grade, that I was taking out and delivered to our small businesses. From there, I moved on, and it took weeks. I was able to crack into the 95 masks, and also the surgical masks that I've just started to deliver on those. So the office is looking a little bit like a warehouse. And now what I'm trying to do is source the face shields, which looks like somebody has been making them for children, for the hospital for the children. So it looks like I might have a lead on those face shields. So that's a little bit about what I've been doing. But I've been in touch with domestically with different businesses, and internationally with some of the contacts and countries that I work with. And it has flowed similar to what you've been doing on, at first, the shock of what was going on. And they were very interested in how we were handling it. And I have to tell you, of everyone that I've talked to, our state has been phenomenal in its reaction, and how we really jumped on it to make a difference, not only to stay safe for our residents, but on helping our small businesses work through these tough times.
I know that you helped this, Mr. Alger's, right? Mr. Alger helped with some hand sanitizers in the construction area. He was very appreciative, and I'm going to have him on over the next couple of weeks to talk about some of the things that he's working on. But you've helped many businesses, and our idea right now is to find those gaps that are not being filled, and try to fill them, and use people skill sets like you have to help fill those gaps. So thank you for being here, to sharing, and stick around. I want to talk a little bit about the ambassador program and a little more depth of what we're doing with that right now, because I think that's going to be one of our special items over the next couple of weeks, of comparing what's happening in other countries right now and their reopening, and compare them to, see if we can learn some lessons there. Anthony, welcome aboard.
How's it going?
It's going really good. And, I think that the one is, introduce yourself. I mean, you're a guide at the training school. You also have a small business owner. And you've been looking for ways to help out. I know that Justin helped you out before, a few weeks back, and now you're giving back. So give us a little overview of your history, and spend a few minutes doing that, Anthony.
Sure. So I've been at the Rhode Island Training School for a little over 6 years now, in the Juvenile Correction Division. So I've been there for about 6.5 years. I started a small company called Safety Management Solutions I partnered up with a Providence cop, a retired Providence cop, and an attorney from Providence, and we've been in business for about 2 years. We've reformulated an old company. I had an old company before. We ended up probably with about 70, 80 employees. So we ended up expanding the business pretty well. We were really fortunate because some of the clientele that we do business with, they were considered essential businesses. So we did a lot with the medical. We were in the medical industry. When we do a lot, Crossroads, Rhode Island is one of our clients. So federally funding housing and whatnot. So we were pretty stable throughout all this. We're actively hiring. We're still hiring. We have about 50 guys on our payroll right now. We're looking to hire for another 15 to 20. And that right now is something we really are trying to do, is just try and work with the Department of Labor and Training and find people that might need additional resources, whether they didn't apply for unemployment or they're still not able to, make ends meet. We'd love to help out. We'd love to hire people. And that's something we're really trying to work on right now, is as the economy comes back, we'd like to be able to assist and have additional resources for people that might need additional work. And Justin was great. With the shields, we were struggling. We had a hard time getting PPE equipment at the training school. He stepped up right away, gave us some shields. We were very fortunate for that. And now I have access to masks, gloves, sanitizers, and stuff like that. I have a friend of mine in the executive protection business out in New Jersey, and he deals with a manufacturing company directly. And I've got, I actually got in my house. She had mentioned about having like a little factory. I've got, I think like 500 KN95 masks. I've got 1,000 of the 3-plios. I've got, I think like 500 of the 2-ounce gel sprays for the sanitizer. I have access to the nitrile gloves. So anything that, we can assist with, we're more than happy to help out. We did a 100 mask donation to the VA home out in Bristol. And we donated 100 KN95 masks to the city of Cranston to the mayor. And they were very appreciative on that. So anything we can do to assist, we'd love to help out.
Yeah. So Anthony, first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for your the work that you do. At the training school. I know that I've mentioned to you that I coached a lot of basketball and coached a lot of different types of kids, and a couple of them may have ended up at the training school at one time. They were good kids.
Yeah.
They're doing really great, by the way, right now. They're raising their family. They got good jobs. They got their homes, and so we know there's a lot of great kids there.
Yep.
So,
And the staff do a great job. We all work together with the administration. They're very supportive of us, and the staff. We do a lot to try and assist the kids and kind of support them as best as we can. Obviously, there are regulations and standards we have to follow, but sometimes if we can build a gap with the kids and help build a rapport, we try and do that as well. So that's another part of the job.
yeah, well, thank you for that work, and I know, and one of the things that when I was helping out to start the mayoral academies public schools, which are leading the state right now and helping a number of people from at-risk communities right now. We knew my experience as a coach with these young kids that some of the kids that you're working with. Yep. I knew that they were smart. I knew that they just needed a break or they needed some attention. And so
just need some coaching sometimes.
Good coaching and having just somebody that they can look up to like yourself that is a great role model, and you wouldn't be here talking about the businesses you're running or the help that you're providing unless you were a really good role model. So
I appreciate
thank you for doing that with the young kids, and it's just so important right now because with this COVID-19, it's impacting a lot of ways. We're doing the small business work, but I'm going to be transitioning into the education work back that I've been involved in for the last decade or more. Right. And we'll be down for a visit. I want to stop in and hear your story, and also hear the young people that are that there right now on a temporary basis. That I want to hear their story too.
That'd be great. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and so I'll tell you some of the on the business side. We talked about that some businesses actually are growing during this
Yeah.
time frame. Tell us about why you're growing, because I think this is the other thing that we need to make people aware of. Entrepreneurs are going to be very resilient. They're going to be very creative, and we know there's no blockbuster videos out there anymore. And people shifted. So this health crisis is going to impact some businesses in a way where our entrepreneurs are going to be looking for different directions, and there are opportunities. Just explain why you're going to be growing your business.
So our we call them anchor accounts. Our anchor accounts, our stability in the business, are medicinal centers, right? So they were one of the few businesses that were allowed to open up throughout all this. They were considered medical, so they were allowed to open up. So we focus on that. Those are some of our big clients. Like I had mentioned, we do Crossroads, Rhode Island. That's a federally funded agency. So we've done a lot of work with that. But the big thing is we've noticed is the compliance. So we have a contact out of New Jersey that I'm very good friends with. I do a lot of work with, and he said that they're starting to see a trend, especially in the state like New Jersey that was hit hard, is the compliance regulations given down by the state. And so like how we're doing the phases. Well, in New Jersey, what they're starting to do is they're starting to make mandatory testing for people that come into the, I don't know if you were watching today, but in the stock market, what they're doing is they're taking the temperatures, and they do it at the training school with us. Before we walk in, our temperatures are being taken. So we think that that's going to be an interesting angle on some of the compliance of the small businesses, whether it's retail stores, supermarkets, however it may be. We think that a lot of the restaurants, bars, etc., they might start transitioning into that. The compliance of a certain amount of people can come in, kind of going through the motions to make sure that the liability is low. So we've been seeing a lot of work with that in regards to kind of like lowering the liability for the business. So we've seen a little bit of an uptick in that.
Yeah, and so the people who are out there, that there's going to be a transition as we get back into the economy start rolling again. People are going to come out. I mean, Matt Weldon's praying for the time when he doesn't have 225,000 people on unemployment, Anthony. Sure. And there's going to be a flow back into the jobs, and the jobs that are going to be available. Some of them are going to be a direct result of the health crisis that we've just gone through.
Right.
So I'm happy that you're here today, and we'll try to keep on the word out that there's job opportunities for people, and sure. At the right time, it's going to be important that they step in.
Absolutely. We actually we're hiring in Rhode Island, and we're hiring in Massachusetts as well. So, like I said, we just want to be a resource to anybody that might need additional assistance. And if they need me, and you have my contact information, more than happy to help out, and any of the small businesses that might need some equipment, some sanitizer, some masks, gloves, we can help assist with that too.
Yeah, that's kind of the segment here with Marianne and Justin. This is to tell people and let people know that they can contact our office if they would like to do some, donate into our small businesses, or quite frankly, donate anywhere into that helps our business. I mean, we're working in our office helping with food banks right now, and we're working very hard to find the gaps that aren't being filled and to fill them. So you're going to be able to donate some masks, and we're going to know where to put them. We have people out there right now that are running businesses that are providing transportation for elderly and people going to that doctor's appointment, going to the kidney dialysis, and they don't really have access to the things you just talked about. So for the people who are watching this broadcast, if you're interested in doing what Anthony and Marianne and Justin are doing, and you're looking for a place to make sure that that equipment or those donations really get put to the right place, right? That are going to help the most. Our office is gearing up for that right now. So Anthony, you're going to give some masks, and we're going to try to circulate those out, right?
Sure. Anything you guys need.
Okay, well, we'll get that, and then we'll start inventorying that. And it's masks. it's the sanitizers, it's what Justin said, with some of those plastic guards that the different industries are going to need. It's gloves, it's gowns right now for the hairdressers in Massachusetts. They're going to have a full gown strategy. So it's all those things out there. And if you have access, I'm talking to the people who are watching right now. If you have access to those items and you want to make donations into, where it really matters, into the state, whether it's into a small business in your area or a small business somewhere in the state of Rhode Island, they're going to need help. There's going to be costs to this reopening. And that's why I'm asking for the federal money to be used as grants for those companies that really need the money. And also create a small business loan program with a state guarantee with our local banks to get tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars out there available to our small businesses. So thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be visiting and we'll be getting those masks and we'll let you know where they're going to get distributed. But we started to work on that this morning with our staff, and we're starting to identify really places that are, need that equipment now. I mean, even some of the food banks that are going on, we have, and I'm going to give Ben a little video of where I was this week. I'm starting to go to one place a day. I'll be at a fitness center tomorrow talking to them about, how they're going to actually reopen. And I was at the Memorial Day service at the Rhode Island Memorial Cemetery, Veterans Cemetery yesterday. So we got to get out and about. Life's going to get back to where it normally has been, but it's going to be a long journey to get there. And the help that we provide to people is really good. So our office is starting to put together a list of people, matching people who want to make donations with people who need the donations. And be assured that we're working on somebody who's looking to donate, I think almost 40,000 surgical masks that will go into our local communities, help our first responders, help some of the businesses in the local community. So just bring on the donations, and thank you for the example you're setting, Anthony. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anthony, before I let you go, somebody asked, they know people that are looking for jobs. How can people apply for the jobs you were talking about?
So my other business partner, Louis Travato, he I believe you could email us. You can email us at ssg1960@gmail.com, or my partner Louis' email is luge62@gmail.com. If you want to tell those people that are looking, if they want to look us up on Facebook, they can private message us. That'd probably be the quickest way to do it. But yeah, like I said, we're hiring all various type of stuff, full-time, part-time. So just have them find us on Facebook, have them message us. We'll set up a phone call, an interview, and we'll get them going.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Anthony. And Ben, of course, anybody can get access to Anthony through our office as well. Marianne, we have a couple minutes here because we're going to start to talk about this International Economic Ambassador Program. And I just want to remind you that you didn't, that I don't have to remind you, but we were going to be talking to the hosting the Japanese ambassador, the U.S. ambassador from Japan, about 2 days before everything just kind of blew up, right? And that was going to be a good meeting. And
yes. In fact, you would have seen everything that was in here for the ambassador for the whole presentation, except this morning before the cast, I moved it all out.
Yeah,
you would have seen it all. That's still here.
Some anchors for them and other things that you've been, again, very generous with to try to help promote this idea. But you got it right away. We've got, and I want you to just talk a couple minutes, because I love to be able to use this forum to help recruit some of our people in the state that do have these networks outside of the country that could really help with our economy. You got it right away when you started talking, and you have certain networks into Japan and initially in other areas of the world. So just explain what you see, the vision that you have and I share with this International Economic Ambassador Initiative that we launched in January. And quite frankly, it's on hold a little bit, but we're being creative to figure out ways to bring the other countries to us right now through those phone calls we're having.
And the amazing thing about it, though, is that even though that we're not doing what we were doing in January, we're actually doing some very serious the people who we do know domestically and internationally, because the whole world is watching what each other is doing and how they're grasping the pandemic and what they're doing for solutions to help. So it's actually, I feel like it's bringing more people together. And anyone in Rhode Island can be, as you know, can be involved in this, from our universities to our businesses, small businesses to our organizations. And so it's anyone who knows abroad. That we talked about before.
Well, I can tell
the
you,
world has gotten smaller. So
yeah.
Really,
Marianne, I'm glad that you were able to just we introduced this idea of the international economic ambassadors, and you were able to help us get it off the ground over the last year. And I think it's got some really good, really strong possibilities for us to help the economy in the state of Rhode Island. And we're looking forward to continue that work with you. And I encourage anybody out there, if you've got networks, it could be family networks, it could be business networks, it could be Rotary Club networks, it could be church networks. We know that is how you create relationships, is through social and personal relationships. That helps develop those, which you've done. You've done through your Japanese network, right?
yes. We have connections now in countries all over the world, and what it does is it builds that great foundation, that great relationship, and that trust, and to work with each other, to help each other, especially in growing economically with our businesses here, and especially now during this time. And I'm finding the calls that we've been doing with New Zealand, with Israel, the call that we'll be having tomorrow with England, it just solidifies those relationships, and it opens up opportunities.
Yeah, and thanks, Marianne. Looking forward to working with you on that. We're going to sign off right now, but if you're out there and you've got a network outside in some other part of the world that you want to share to help Rhode Island grow economically and culturally, make sure you contact our office. You'll be in good hands with the dozen or more people right now that are working on this project, and Marianne is one of our leaders on that. So thanks, Marianne.
Thank you, Governor.
Okay.
Good day.
Yes. Well, that was a quick hour as well, and I hope that you enjoyed it. We really do appreciate the people who are listening in and the people who are asking their questions of us, because we want to get back to you. So we'll be on tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, and we'll be on Friday at noon, and talking about Rhode Island small businesses in particular. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for tuning in.